We'd like to start out by thanking our valuable sponsors. Sense of Satisfaction by Cricket is the place for all your fragrance needs. Plus, she's got products to heal what ails your skin and your hair. Shop at sensebycricket.com. Special thanks to our valued sponsor, John Travis, a financial coach and certified Kingdom advisor with Richard Young Associates, a registered investment advisor. Thanks goes to Anna Patterson, my sister in the Lord who faithfully gives to this ministry every month. And to our newest sponsor, LaToya Gerard of Preach the Word Worldwide Network. She is a valued sponsor and a major encourager regarding this ministry. We need and would love to have you as a sponsor. Absolutely no gift is too small. Please note the info regarding giving throughout and at the end of the show, and help us spread these testimonies around the world. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the viewpoints of our sponsors. It's time to hear the story, make the connection, learn the lesson, and gain the wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get charged and be changed. The Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Conversations on grace, healing, and deliverance. This is Marcy Bush. Come on, let's journey together. Hello, and thank you for joining us again for the Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Y'all know I always got a special guest, and this one is for real, for real. This is a part of my heart. One of my most favorite people on the planet. I remember when I asked, you gonna be on the show one day? He was like, yeah, let me know. That shocked me, but I was so glad. And it's been a minute since we've talked about it, but he is here today. And I know that his journey is gonna encourage you. So get ready to hear from my nephew, Kevin Pope. Thank you so much, Kev, for deciding to sit with us to just talk about your journey. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, and glad I can answer when you finally called. So, right, I hear that when I finally call. Well, I'm not a big open person when it comes to just putting myself out there, but I'm a big supporter of you. So anytime you needed me, I'm gonna be there as much as I can. So, and I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So we're going to do what we've been doing anyway. We're just going to keep talking. So I didn't even tell the people you are a husband, a father, a brother, a great friend. And I always talk about how much I feel like you're an encourager. You're a supporter, like you said. And to me, like, that's the thing that you really, really bring to the table, is that you are secure in who you are. And so you don't have trouble like encouraging other people to do what it is they do. So I appreciate that about you. Anytime. Yeah. And I do want to say, like, even with doing the show, with starting my own business or moving forward in my business, you were one of the people that really, really helped me go after my dreams. And so that means a lot. I don't know what it is. Almost anytime, we don't text all the time or whatever. No. But almost anytime I get a text, before I start reading good, when I see that it's from you, there are instant tears. And I don't even know how, like, I don't know, but you just need to know there's a special place that you got in my heart. I appreciate it. And I do like to support people. And just because I like seeing people win. Right. And then you with this show and everything that you've got going on that you're doing, I admire you for that, because I know it's something that I can't do, and something that I wouldn't do. Is just not me. Right. And then just because I didn't think it was me. Yeah, because and you being my aunt and just seeing you take this step out on faith and just going on your journey and starting this business and doing what you're doing. I mean, it's very admirable to me. I can speak for myself, and so I'm here to support you. I'm going to encourage you because I think it's dope. I think it's great. Thank you. And thank you. I love what you're doing. So I appreciate it. So we're going to start out And let me tell y'all now, if I call him Buck, that's my nickname for him. His name is Kevin. I might be the only one that calls him Buck. But yeah, so if I'm talking about Buck, it's because we're having a real conversation.
Yeah.
So tell us about little Kevin.
Well, I don't know if it's like this for anybody else, but for me, it's crazy. It's like most of my childhood, I remember most of it, but it was like a blur. It went by so fast. But I know I was was a typical little boy. I was, you know, always happy, always wanting to play, always wanting to run. Got a lot of whoopings because I did a lot of dumb little boy stuff. You know very well,
yes,
throwing rocks, running all over the place, hanging off of door frames, doing things.
Putting your brother in the dryer.
All kinds of silly things. Just a lot of just dumb little boy stuff that I used to do. But just somebody who enjoyed playing and just, I guess, kind of how I am now, but on a more mature level, I just enjoy life and just being around family and friends and just being out there and just taking each day for what it is. But just as a kid, I just remember just being happy all the time. We weren't a family who had a lot of money or anything, but we had everything we needed and some of what we wanted. So I was always happy. I had everything I needed, so there was no reason to be sad. So,
right. What are some of your fondest memories?
My fondest memories, most of them probably just involve family. Even now I'm a big family person, but it was always wanting to be with my cousins. There was so many of us. They were all like my brothers and sisters.
Right.
So I enjoyed being around them, playing with my siblings in the yard, just in either side, my mom's side or my dad's side of the family, just really just being with them and just running and playing and just spending time together. Those are always my fondest memories as a little kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there any memories that stand out that you feel like kind of forged from your early childhood, that kind of forged who you are? Anything that kind of that made such an impression that it's kind of locked in?
I guess on a subconscious level, yes, but I know the person that I am today wasn't formed probably until really after high school. But earlier on, I guess seeing, you know, my grandfather and my uncles and and even earlier on, my dad as well, just seeing them just go through life and doing the things they do, just kind of mimicking that. And I know they have shaped and formed who I am, but the things that really stand out that make me who I am today, like I said, it didn't come until my teenage years and then graduating high school that kind of put me where I am today.
So did you, and it's like, okay, so here we go. Here's one of my memories that just came up. You and your mama and your siblings at the nursing home.
Okay, so that is a good one. That definitely played a part in how I am today or who I am today, because I'm a person that likes to support and help people when they need it. And that is something that Rebecca Pope instilled in all of us, is service.
Yes.
We had our thing with the church. We were in the youth council, and Christmas time we would go to the nursing homes and, you know, just visit people, do Christmas carols and things like that. But not many people know on the side, Mama took me, and at the time it was just me and my two sisters, and we would go to the nursing homes and we would put on pretty much a mini church service for them. So we would start out with, she would make, I think Jessica had to read a Bible scripture, I believe. She had me, we opened up with a song. Then Jessica had to read a Bible scripture.
Was Jill playing the piano back then?
Jill was playing the piano, so she had Jill playing piano. And she had me do a prayer, and then we would just sing songs. We would sing happy birthday to whoever birthday it might be or whatever. And it was just a mini service that we would have for them. And then just taking us and showing us, you know, showing us how to do things for other people, thinking about other people than yourselves. Even outside of my other siblings, she's taken me, she was a part of a little ministry impromptu team. I've been to the prison.
Okay.
She took me to the prison with her to minister to prisoners and things like that. And I'm pretty sure that was part of, you know, showing me what it looked like in a prison to keep me out. But, but that's another thing, doing something for, you know, people who that are incarcerated and that aren't a part of society right now.
Right.
And those are things that I bring up and I forget about them often, but that is part of why I am who I am today. And I just love doing things for other people and just helping out when I can, no matter what it is, a big thing or a small thing. If I'm available and somebody needs help, I'm there.
Right. So, and it's shifting gears, but can you remember one of the first traumatic things that you recall?
Traumatic. I'll say it wasn't just one thing, and this was more kind of something that kind of just, and this is something that definitely has molded me into who I am today. But you know, my parents started having some issues, and to me, it was traumatic. It traumatized me in a good way, I guess I have to say, because the things that I saw, it just, and I don't want to put anything out there like, you know, my parents, it wasn't domestic abuse. Well, physical domestic abuse. I mean, there was, excuse me, there was like verbal abuse and, you know, a lot of, you know, alcohol, you know, involved as well. And so, just seeing my parents going back and forth and just arguing about finances or just things in general, what you're not doing, you know, where you're not showing up. And it was more so, excuse me, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
It was more so, you know, my dad, he had he was an alcoholic. You know, he developed an alcohol issue, and sorry.
You're good. You want to take a drink?
No, I'm good. Just yeah. And so it was more so he started drinking very heavily, and it kind of affected, you know, how he interacted just with our immediate family. You know, he was somebody who went to church with us every Sunday. He stopped going to church. He stopped pretty much doing anything with us. And so, and, you know, I guess misuse of finances and things like that. So that was a lot of the arguments and things. And I saw that growing up and just being around just the yelling and the cursing and stuff like that. And that's kind of why I am the way I am today. Like, if me and my wife get into it, we not finna yell. That's something I established when we were dating. And it's not like I'm a dictator or anything, but it's like, look, I can't take the yelling back and forth. I don't do that. And so that's, if we have a disagreement or something, it's we talk it out. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and say it's the most civil conversation, but I don't curse at my wife, I don't curse at my kids, and that's just how I am because I lived in that, and I refuse to, you know, let that continue. So I would say that was probably one of the most traumatic things, and that was just over years. You know, just I remember. It wasn't, I think it was kind of like a subconscious thing. I would hear things or I would see things, and in my mind it'd be like a little mental note. Don't do that. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, you did this, I'm gonna go a different way when this may come up. And that really has shaped kind of who I am, especially, like I said, in my marriage especially. Because I just saw a lot of things that I saw my dad do wrong, and a lot of he didn't make the best decisions, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I don't make that same mistake. And then on the flip side of it, also, I've had this conversation with my dad before he passed. Was I even let him know that even though as a kid you see things a certain way, mama doesn't drink. Mama goes to church. She does this. Mama's good. Daddy's bad because daddy drinks. Daddy's cursing. Daddy's this. As an adult and as a man and as a married man, I've had the conversation with my dad, and I told him, like, Daddy, one thing I want you to know is I do know that it wasn't all just you. It takes two people to have a conflict. I said, so I want you to know that I know that it wasn't all you, but at the same time, you need to own up for the things that you did.
Right.
And not saying there needs to be some kind of comeuppance or anything like that, but the things you did, you need to know that it was wrong. But just know that I know it wasn't all you.
Right.
I know there were things that mama wasn't doing that she should have done, things that she said that she should not have said,
right.
or even things that she did that she should not have done. But as a kid, you know, your view is
right.
your perspective is different. But now that I'm kind of in it, I told him that because I wanted him to know that, because I think that was part of you know, just our relationship growing, because it just going through that from probably middle school through high school, that definitely put a strain, and I'm only going to speak for myself and not my siblings, that put a strain on my relationship with him. I didn't want anything to do with him. You know, we lived in the same house.
Right.
We didn't talk. I didn't look to him for no guidance. As a man, as a person, I didn't look for him to give me any kind of guidance in life at all. And so just as I got older, especially after I had kids, because I didn't want to keep my kids from him, and I wanted to make sure, and I never told, even though my kids are 10 and 4, my 10-year-old, he doesn't know what my dad was like growing up, because I never want to change his perspective of him. I told my dad when KJ was first born, I'm gonna let you dictate your relationship with him. I'm not gonna make him have this certain view of you.
Right.
He doesn't even know that side of you exists.
Right.
You see him much as you want to. You spend time as much, and whatever you want to do is going to be dependent on you. And that's how I let it go.
Right.
Because I came to the realization that me and him, I never disrespected him. I still call him dad, daddy. You know, he's still my father. But after I got older, we've got a man-to-man relationship.
Right.
It ain't no father-son relationship. I don't need anything from you as a father. You know, but you're my father, and I'm still going to acknowledge that. But all we have is a man-to-man relationship. I don't need no advice from you. I don't need anything from you. But we're still cordial, and we still spent time together. Holidays, I invited him. He'd be at the house. He stopped by anytime he felt like he needed to stop by. He lived with me for a little while. You know, so that definitely is a traumatic experience just over years that I had that really helped shape me. And I guess even after that, the biggest thing was the passing of my mom.
Well, before you get into that, so what you said just now is several pieces. I feel like we could. No, you weren't. It's just several pieces that I feel like we could kind of unpack a little more. So even because I saw you respect your dad despite y'all not being able to really have a father-son relationship. And it's one thing, like you said, you see, this is good, this is bad. But no, as you said, it takes two people to argue. It takes two people to fall out. Now, there may be one precipitating event.
Exactly.
But at what point do you say, I'm not going to do this no more? Because then when you hear like the fussing, it wasn't just one-sided. And again, as we grow and mature, it is not any disrespect to our parents. It is not like this just hurling accusations. No. This is what it was like for me. And nobody can tell you what, because this is the other thing I know too. You don't know nobody till you live with them.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
You do not know a person until you live with them, because once they come inside that house, whatever was up, all the guards coming down, like, this is me. And so nobody knows anyone like the people in the house with them. And so, where that father piece was missing, are there any people that you feel like kind of, even if you didn't go to them, that you looked at to kind of emulate or draw from?
Absolutely. Like I said, I worked at, my granddad's shop for the longest amount of time. I definitely looked to him. Didn't necessarily have a lot of conversations with him about, what it is, and you know him, he gives advice freely. So any nuggets that he felt like he needed to give, he gave them, and I received them.
Right.
But I just looked at the way he treated my grandmother. You know, anybody that knows Clarence Bush knows he treats her like an angel.
Right.
And so I definitely paid attention to that. And the other person that I really looked to is my Uncle Pat. And and that's no slight to my other uncles. Right. I looked at Uncle Pat because even as a kid, Pat was at our house as much as you were.
Right.
So he's somebody who was always there because he was the youngest of the boys. So just the relationship we had with him was different.
Right.
So just growing up and being around him all the time and then working at the shop and he's there, I thought he was one of the coolest people in the world. So I always looked at him, and anytime I could, you know, just be with him, I would be.
Right.
And anytime I could just be up under him, you know, I wanted to be up under him and just some of that coolness that I thought he had, I wanted to rub off, you know. So those are two people that I definitely look to. And even as I got older, you know, my Uncle Hammond or Uncle Paul, who's a preacher, I looked at him and the way he was. I loved being around him. He used to get out there and shoot ball with us every single Sunday and we'd be at his house. And then my Uncle Dolphus, he had his own journey,
right?
And then just the person who he became.
And see, you knew more of Dolphus before I did.
He was one of my best friends. He was the funniest person in the world to me. I enjoyed our conversations, and he's somebody who I love to be around, especially when he really dedicated his life back to Christ. He was somebody who dropped a lot of nuggets on me, and that was more so in my later teens, early 20s age. He dropped a lot of nuggets on me, and he was just real. Yeah. Because he had been through some real stuff. So the conversations that he and I would have really helped mold me in those years as well, because I grew up in the church and I still believe God and I love God with all my heart, but I've never been the most religious person. I'm just somebody who's, I'm real. What you see is what you get. And when Uncle Dolphus, he was somebody who talked to me in a real way. And it was like, this is what's going out in the world. This is how you navigate it. But on the flip side, this is what God is telling us. And that's really how I try to live my life. And those are some men who really formed and just influenced the kind of man that I became. So when I wasn't getting that fatherly figure at home, those are the people that I looked to get the things, the tools that I needed to become the person that I am.
Right. And then another part of what you were saying was how even your dad's relationship with your children. As I have grown up, I find out you're two different people, really. Yeah. You know, as a father or as a mother versus grandfather, grandmother, it's worlds apart because, you know, I remember one day, maybe a couple of years ago, you were at the house and you was like, man, Marcy, we were at Mama and Daddy's, and you were like, man, now that I'm a father, I realize, man, Mama and them didn't know what the H they was doing. Yeah, and one of my sisters was like, oh, Kevin. And he was like, y'all didn't. And you do not know.
It's true.
You do the best you can.
Right. And even saying that, but for me, I say that because even now I think back, especially my mama, it seemed like she always knew what to do, knew the right thing to do, the right things to say to her kids, because she had 4 kids. She treated none of us the same.
And y'all are very different.
She treated none of us the same. And she had a special relationship with each one of us. And just everything that I saw her do, it seemed like as a mother, it was the right thing to do. She always said the right thing, even though it seemed mean or harsh at the time. The things that she would make me do, which I thought was mean. Now it's
raking a yard.
Right. It's the reason why I have a good work ethic now. You know, I got to get up on Saturdays and rake yards or cut grass.
And whoever spent the night with you was gonna do it.
That's
too.
Why I didn't want people to spend the night in my house, because I was like, look, don't come to my house because you're gonna have to go to work. So those things.
And if y'all hear Jessica laughing behind the camera, it's because she's one of the siblings. Yes.
So that for me, it seemed like Mama, she just, and I'm not even gonna slight my dad. My dad in my earlier years, he was there. He was a present father. He was. It wasn't until probably my preteens, teenage years where things started to change.
Right.
But earlier on, he was there, and he was a present. He was a good father. He went to church. He took us to church. He did all the right things, and they really seemed like they had it all together. And now that I'm living in it, and I'm at the age where I remember my parents, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm winging this thing every day. And I'm realizing that they were too. But even now, I feel like they had it more together than I do now. You know, so.
But, and this is a different society, man.
It is. These
totally different.
Are different.
Yeah.
They are different. It long gone are the days where, you know, your mama was like, look, you better shut your mouth and stop talking and go over there and sit in the corner. And you do it. I say that to my kids, they're going to be like, why?
Right.
Well, I'm talking right now. I don't need you to say, but I got something I need to say. And they won't stop until I let them say what they need to say. Because it's just relentless. They have these feelings. They feel a certain way, and you telling them that you can't say what I need. Like, you can't talk. Stop talking. No, I got something to say, and you need to hear what I need to say. So it's completely different.
Some of that is Kevin Pope in 2023, little Kevin in 20. Now you would have been toothless, back in the day, but that was you.
And see, that's a side of me I don't even remember.
Yeah, so. And see, I remember the time. I think it was, and I was trying to remember if it was you or Jill.
It was probably me.
But yeah, I think it was you. We at the table one Sunday morning, and somebody sat in where my seat. And you kept telling
story,
them,
I think that was Jill.
That was Jill. Okay. Yeah. But there was this like, I know you my granddaddy, because I was like, this girl about to get told out the frame. But again, what you see, I believe now, is you on steroids. Like, because
probably so. I guess so,
yeah. Because back then, I'm sure the thoughts were, but why I can't?
Right.
But they're gonna vocalize.
Thoughts, but I never verbalized it because I knew what would happen.
Right.
My kids know I show them a lot more grace, and I'm not gonna hit them. So they, you know, they're not disrespectful.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been blessed by today's show, feel free to let us know. And if you'd like to sow into this ministry, become a sponsor, or contact us, you can reach us at 803-221-0169. Or you can email us at thessbbshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this journey together. We need and would love to have you as a sponsor. Absolutely no gift is too small. Please note the info regarding giving and help us spread these testimonies around the world.